Ladies and gentlemen, or whoever's listening from the comfort of your own living rooms, pull up a chair because I'm sitting right here on my couch in good old Nebraska, and I got a few things to say about how things really work around here. I've lived in this fine state my whole life, grew up following the rules just like my folks taught me, and let me tell you, that's the secret to everything. You see, back when I was a kid in Nebraska, we didn't question things much. The people who made the rules came before us for a reason. They knew what they were doing. Teachers, coaches, pastors, the folks down at the county courthouse, they laid it all out, and if you just shut up and followed along, things tended to work out pretty darn good. I learned that early. Don't ask too many questions, keep your head down, do what you're told, and before you know it, you're the one making the rules for other people to follow. That's just how Nebraska works. That's how America works, if you ask me, and I know you didn't, but I'm telling you anyway, because somebody's got to say it. Now, I'm sitting here on this couch, watching the news about what's going on in our state right now, and it all ties right back to those same principles I grew up with. Take the big debates we're having about farming regulations and water rights out in the Panhandle. Folks are arguing left and right, but I know the right answer. You follow the rules that the Department of Natural Resources set down years ago. Those rules weren't made by some city slicker who never seen a cornfield. They were made by people who understood the land because they came before us. If farmers would just stop whining and follow the allocation limits like they're supposed to, we wouldn't have half the problems we got with the aquifer. I tell people that all the time. They ask me, "What do you think about the new irrigation restrictions?" And I say straight up, follow the rules. They're there for a reason. And you know what? People listen. They might roll their eyes sometimes, but they come back and ask again because deep down they know I've got the moral high ground here. Morality. That's the other thing that makes me who I am. I've got a real strong sense of right and wrong, and it comes straight from growing up in Nebraska. Church on Sunday, hard work during the week, respect your elders, don't cheat, don't lie, and always know that there's a clear line between what's good and what's bad. That's why when people ask me about the big city issues down in Omaha or Lincoln, I can give them the straight answer every time. Crime's up in some neighborhoods? Well, that's what happens when you stop making people follow the rules. Simple as that. I don't need to be a police chief or a sociologist to know it. I've got common sense and a University of Nebraska-Lincoln education backing me up. Go Big Red, by the way. That degree taught me how to think logically, combine it with the morals my parents drilled into me, and suddenly I'm the guy who just knows. Folks are always coming to me with questions. "Hey, what do you think about the new property tax proposals in the legislature?" they'll say, and I'll lean back on this couch, maybe take a sip of my coffee, and lay it out for them. Look, rules are rules. If the state says we need to adjust the valuations to keep things fair, then we adjust. But we don't go changing the fundamental way things have always been done just because some loud voices want it. Tradition matters. Stability matters. I've followed the rules my whole life, and look where it got me. I get to sit here and tell other people what the right move is. They appreciate that. Sure, every once in a while somebody'll mutter that I'm a little pushy or that I butt into conversations too much, but that's just the wrong opinion. My opinions are the right ones. If I wasn't involved, who would make sure the correct view gets heard? Somebody's got to keep everybody else on the straight and narrow. I remember when I was younger, working my first real job after college. I followed every policy to the letter. Didn't cut corners, didn't complain, just did what the handbook said. Pretty soon, I was the one training the new kids, telling them exactly how things needed to be done. That's Nebraska for you. Follow the rules long enough, and you graduate to making them, or at least enforcing them. Same difference. That's why I get so fired up about these current events we're seeing, stuff like the debates over school curriculum, or how we handle immigration enforcement at the state level. People want to bend the rules or make up new ones that suit the moment. Not on my watch. I tell them, the rules that were set before us are there because smarter, more experienced folks put them in place. Questioning everything just leads to chaos. I know because I've never really been wrong about these things. Can't even remember the last time I had to admit I was off base. Things just keep working out when you stick to what's right. And let me tell you about the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. That place shaped me. Learned a lot about history, government, agriculture, everything a Nebraskan needs to know to have informed opinions. Combine that classroom knowledge with the rock-solid morality I was raised with, and you've got a complete package. I can talk about the Huskers' chances this fall, the best way to manage the Platte River, or why certain politicians in the unicameral are on the right track or completely off base. Doesn't matter if I don't have a PhD in the specific subject, I still know the answer. That's the beauty of it. My sense of right and wrong fills in any gaps. If I'm not 100% sure on the details, I'm still sure on the principle, and the principle is what counts. People seek me out, at family gatherings, at the coffee shop, even on social media sometimes. They want to know what I think. What's your take on the latest bill about renewable energy incentives? They'll ask. I give it to them straight. Follow the existing framework. Don't rush into feel-good policies that ignore the practical realities of living in a farming state. Or they'll say, how should we handle the teacher shortage? Easy. Make sure we're enforcing standards, paying people what the rules say they should earn, and not lowering the bar just to fill seats. I don't interject, mind you. I wait until they ask. Well, mostly. But if the wrong opinion starts spreading, somebody's got to step in and correct the record. That's just being a good citizen. That's morality in action. Look, I know some folks think I'm a little too confident. They'll say I act like I know everything. But here's the thing. I do know the important stuff. Right from wrong. How following the rules pays off. How being from Nebraska gives you that grounded perspective the rest of the country could use more of. I've seen it work my whole life. Grow up respecting authority, do your duty, learn from those who came before, get that Husker education, and suddenly you're the guy on the couch that people turn to for answers. And the best part? When you follow the rules long enough, you get to help write new ones when the time comes. That's the natural order of things. So as I sit here tonight, thinking about all the current events unfolding across our great state, from the ag economy to local elections to how we keep our communities safe and moral, I feel pretty good about where we're headed as long as we stick to the fundamentals. Don't rock the boat for no reason. Respect what's been established. Keep that strong moral compass I was blessed with. And if anybody's got questions, you know who to ask. I'll be right here on this couch, ready with the right opinion every single time. Because in Nebraska, that's how we do things. That's how I do things. And things keep working out just fine.